discussed that quite a bit. What they basically concluded was that the results were inconclusive, that it appeared that there wasn't really a huge need for workforce housing, but they also were disappointed in the level of response that they got. I think they got a decent response back from the schools, but not maybe necessarily local businesses or employees of those businesses. Let's see, they discussed the CUP process, which was also discussed at the Planning Commission meeting. They talked about the Bike Fest, and they were, had some frank discussions about the profitability of the Bike Fest and its future for the town. And then also they mentioned Restaurant Week for to be planned for the near future, I think, for Colonial Beach, which I believe is basically kind of a way to help promote our local restaurants. That's about all I have. Thank you.
Yep, Mr. Wilson.
Good evening, everybody. First, I want to mention that we had a ribbon cutting today at Budget Blinds. Sorry, it's been a long day. At Budget Blinds, well attended. Chamber of Commerce was there, and I was there representing the town for that as well as Ms. Sullivan and Vicky. So if you need any blinds, please make sure you get down to Budget Blinds for them. As far as the financial liaison, we're going to have our first quarter financial report provided by Lisa today, so I'll let her handle that. As far as Parks and Rec, we still have open positions for the Parks and Rec. So if you're interested in joining the Parks and Rec Commission, please get your applications in. We'd love to have you. Our next meeting will be held on November 7th. So we look forward to seeing you there. That's all I have today.
I also went to VML, and this is the first time that I had the privilege to go, and it was absolutely one of the best conferences that I ever attended. I went to one of them was K through 12 funding, the formula, and that's just as brief now as it was years ago when I first started to teach, but they're doing a much better job of it. So there were a lot of things to attend. It was very, very worthwhile. And that's about it. And our superintendent and assistant is here tonight, so they'll tell about the school. Thank you.
All right. I have a lot of things to update people on. Since the last meeting, a lot has happened, but starting with the VML conference, I attended the Mayor's Institute, which is head of the VML conference, and it is specifically for mayors of towns and cities across the Commonwealth for us to collaborate and also to learn different aspects of the roles, authorities, and responsibilities of being mayor. I think that hopefully we'll see some collaboration specifically with the town of Martinsville. I think we have a way to cross promote each other's towns, as they have a NASCAR track, and we also love cars and have a drag strip just down the road. So looking forward to some of that. Following that was VML, which all the ladies attended and not the guys. So I'm going to try to just get you guys there next time. When I returned, very unfortunately, I attended the funeral of a very beloved member of our community, Noy, who brought a lot here to this town, and with a welcome and a smile, and I just acknowledged him today as I did at the funeral. After that was the Board of Supervisors meeting, where very fortunately our expansion of the enterprise zone incentive passed. There was also the women's business networking brunch that day. And then the next day was Drive 2.0, which is a Virginia Tourism Commission all-day conference to get the next 5-year plan for the Northern Neck and help the Virginia Department of Tourism funnel or qualify funding for the Northern Neck and prioritize how to do that. After that was over, then I was at the career fair at the school, which was fantastically attended, and I loved meeting all the kids and talking to them. I represented architecture at the career fair and also the Northern Neck Technical School. So hopefully we'll get the technical school there next year on their own, because I brought all the brochures and I have a lot of questions about technical school from the middle schoolers starting to get ready to think about that in ninth grade. Then after that, I'm trying to get my calendar open, guys, because it's really too much to recall off the top of my head. Then I had the coffee walk at Buzz. They do once a month. If you haven't been, I really recommend it. You get a medal at the end, which makes you feel really important and good. And it's supportive of the work of a very important community member in our town, Debbie Stockhouse, and I think I might have butchered her last name, but who is very supportive of handicap accessibility throughout town. And we got to see all the new love signs. And then I had a informational webinar with Virginia Housing. And then that night, the art walk, which I hosted a local jewelry artist who graduated from Plano Beach. And then the next day was the Alzheimer's walk. And even though it was in the rain, I thought had a very great participation for that as well. And then the following day, because it rained that day, so maybe I got a little bit of a break, but then was the Heart and Soul fundraiser at the Monterey Bay Winery, which was also well attended. And I think the spirit of Heart and Soul of bringing our community together, trying to reach out to some of maybe the unheard voices in our community is a really important initiative. I'm not at the head of that by any means, but I just echo my support for that ambition that they have there. And then the next day was the homecoming parade. So
That was fun.
yes, that was fun. Rick rode with me on the golf cart. Thanks, Rick. Nick was there. And so let's go Drifters for our homecoming game. And I hope everybody has a safe time with homecoming. So it's been busy. It's been a busy week. My son is sick tonight, so if I feel a little bit like I'm ready to dash for the door, it's because our parents are watching him until we get out of the meeting. So that is my update right now. At VML, I will say there's two things that I just wanted to bring back from that Virginia Municipal League training. One is that lesson in the fact that participating in your local government can be very unsatisfying. How many people think that? I think it, and I'm sitting up here. Yeah, there you go, 2 hands. It can be very unsatisfying, and part of that is just how bureaucracy works, and part of it is just a frustration. And so there were some very good ideas at GML about how to help that be not so unsatisfying. And I think the Community Heart and Soul program is maybe one of the ways in which we're getting people together for the good of the community and creating community pride, which is a big part of maybe the unsatisfactory part sometimes, because it can be very negative and not focusing on that negativity. The other part is bringing in just bringing in kindness to the room and setting that tone. And so I just welcome you all today, and that my welcome is with kindness to all of you. And the second was a purpose of government. And I want to share this because I just thought it was very fitting. That the purpose of government is to enable individuals to join together in recognizing and solving community problems. And I think sometimes different words get emphasized in that sentence, but I would like to personally emphasize join together. The purpose of local government is to enable individuals to join together in recognizing and solving community problems. So that is our purpose, and with that, I'll continue on. Thank you. Yeah.
Did you want to remind people that Fall Festival and Halloween?
Oh my gosh, so many more events to come. Yes, Fall Festival is coming. Also, tomorrow is the meetup, the Community Foundation meetup at Crazy Jack's. I am the speaker there. It will have something or another to do with some of the things I've mentioned tonight, about getting that unsatisfied part of working with government out of the way. So hopefully we'll do a little bit of that at the community meetup. So please join me tomorrow. And also listen to the radio, a bunch of cool stuff happening on the radio, ghost stories, I think, by Mr. Wood. And also some educational things about government doing. And the school now announces school announcements on the radio by a student, a local student that's doing that. And I heard that the other day. It's really wonderful to hear that. And I think Fall Festival and the Golf Cart Parade are all on not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. This Saturday? Oh my gosh, this month is going by so fast. This Saturday, 4 o'clock is the golf cart parade, 11 o'clock
Starts the festival.
is the festival. And then we'll have trick or treating, and I still have to make a robot costume out of boxes.
And the following year is barbecue.
It's true. It's so true. Okay.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Barbecue.
Yeah, so the barbecue is gonna be on.
Yes, the
Friday.
Heroes Barbecue is also
Yeah.
then. And I know we have Tommy with us today, which he'll talk about Veterans Day, which is then coming up very quickly after that. We invite everybody to celebrate that with us as well. All right.
We don't.
I'm looking forward to hibernating this
I know,
winter.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Maybe getting some sleep. Okay, next up is our recognitions. Is Tommy here, Tommy Robinette? I don't see him here, but that's very like him to not be in the limelight or not to maybe want to stand up to be recognized. This is Tommy Robinette cuts the grass at the community center and does a lot of things that people don't maybe notice or maybe take for granted in our community. And so we just want to give him a certificate of appreciation. This certificate,
Community garden.
oh, what did I say?
Community center.
I'm sorry, community garden, at the garden. This certificate is presented to Tommy Robinette in deep appreciation for your unwavering commitment and outstanding contributions to the community garden throughout the years. We extend our heartfelt thanks and recognize your selfless service and dedication to supporting the community. Fun fact about Tommy is he was really worried about getting a parking ticket while he was cutting the grass at the community garden because he has a trailer also. But we did get all of that worked out. He did not get a parking ticket. So thank you, PD, for appreciating Tommy. So anyway, thanks to Tommy, who is not here, we'll make sure he gets this. And next up is First Sergeant Bernetta Wright, who I think is here. Okay. Yes, Sergeant Wright, you can stand up. I am very proud to recognize Sergeant Wright. Is this a surprise to you, Sergeant Wright, or did they give you a heads up? No.
You gotta put away the chairs after the meeting too.
No, you don't, because you put away a lot of stuff after National Night Out. This certificate is to thank you for your dedication, your very hard work, and a very successful National Night Out. I think you deserve a huge round of applause, and you've got a lot so many different service organizations at National Night Out. Being on Town Hill, I was just very impressed with the participation. I learned things about some of these different, programs that are going on. The MIH program from the county, which if you don't know about, it's going to do an interview on WWER, so you should listen up for that, who we connected her with, and she's now connected with Guadalupe Clinic, and all of that is happening because of your National Night Out. And having a helicopter land on Town Hill pretty much took the cake. So you've set the bar pretty high now, Sergeant Wright, and we're going to have certain expectations now maybe from that. And having that helicopter piloted by a female, I thought also was just a very wonderful thing to show our young children that were there. that day, and she should just be very proud. So this certificate is to present it to Sergeant Bernetta Wright for your commitment to promoting community engagement and fostering positive relationships, which is truly commendable. We extend our sincerest thanks for your unwavering dedication, countless hours of planning and execution, making our National Night Out event a resounding success. When I got there, I said, I went and thanked somebody else in the police department, and I said, did you help with this? And they said, no. Actually, Sergeant Wright did everything.
Actually, I did, the chief helped, the captain helped, and the lieutenant helped.
Thank you to everybody in the police department, I really appreciate it.
Chief, did you help?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I-
And this is a great photo wall back here. Nice backdrop for it. Thank you very much. Okay, town manager update. Happy to give it over to you, Ms. Hackett.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, distinguished guests in attendance. My report will be very brief, and it will be followed by the third quarter public safety report from Chief Cooper and the first quarter financial report from Lisa Oaks. I want to give an update on the SCADA purchase. So we spoke with the vendor, and they are telling us that at the end of the year is when everything will be in, and they will come in and install the new system and run diagnostic tests to just ensure that everything is compatible and working. So we are looking at an end of year installation for the new SCADA system. An update on the town center repairs. So there are some supply chain issues, and so the vendor is telling us that the parts that we have ordered will arrive in the middle of next week. However, because of these supply chain issues, they've given us different dates of when parts should arrive. So should the parts not arrive next week as we've been told, we will then move on to the second vendor. We will contact them and find out if they have any supply chain issues, or see if they can order the parts from somewhere else, so as not to delay getting the parts so that we can reopen town center. We all are looking forward to reopening that fairly quickly. And finally, CDA is still ongoing. We are anticipating just being completed with this phase of the CDA repairs at the end of the month. So towards the month, we will have a walkthrough and just ensure that everything has been completed according to the contracts. But as for this week, there are lane restrictions and closures from Denison to Beach Terrace to include Taylor Street, and that's because the crew has to dig the trenches so that the base asphalt can be laid down. And if there are any questions on what I reported, I'll take them now before we go on to.
Yes, Ms. Wood.
One thing I wanted to make sure of, since their SCADA system is taking a little longer than we'd anticipated, I want to make sure that we are still manning that plant 24/7 until we get
Yes.
that installed.
Yes, that's correct. The plant is being manned 24/7.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, Ms. Wood.
Yes, is there anything holding us from actually having meetings at the town center other than no AC?
Well, there also isn't any heat,
Oh,
so the entire HVAC system is out.
okay, well, that makes sense then. And also for the central drainage area, I've noticed they put some pavement in the holes that they dug. Are they actually going to repave the entire road, or are we gonna be left with patches in our streets, or what's the final outcome of that?
With Diane not being here tonight, I cannot definitively answer that, but I can give you a response, tomorrow when she returns, as far as the entire, thing being paid.
The contract is for the entire thing to be repaid. And my understanding is they stopped doing the gravel and started hard patching it because they were having concerns about the gravel having an issue.
I thought that was the case, but I just wanted to double check because it's pretty rough riding right now.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
you can have her confirm that, but my understanding is the contract is the whole thing to be repaid.
Any more questions? Okay, we'll now go to Chief Digger, who will deliver the third quarter public safety report.
You're way down there, Chief.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of Town Council. Before you tonight is the third quarter public safety report for 2023. This quarter covers July through September, which is our busiest time of the year. As a result of that, you will see that great increases in calls for service for the police department. I think we had 700 to 800 more calls for service this quarter than the previous quarter, as a result of being in summertime. Also, the reports went up and traffic stops went up as well. Accidents stayed about the same, but arrests as well for the third quarter. As is commonplace with the type of crimes that we had in the community, most of the crimes that we had were either for all other offenses that are not primary offenses covered by the FBI, IDR's reporting, or information on the reports that are things that are not truly crimes, but we take reports for, such as lost items and other things of that nature. The highest number of arrests was all other offenses, which also includes when we do a warrant service for another jurisdiction, is it lumped into that category as well. So that's part of the reason why that number is up. But the drunken public and DUI offenses went up in some way as well, obviously with more people in town. And then simple assaults stayed about the same. On this screen, you're going to see the offenses occurring mostly in the evening hours, starting about 5 until midnight. Midnight being far there on the left, the 0 hour is midnight. So not as many crimes occurring in the early morning hours before people wake up. And then as we would suspect with summertime and visitors to the community, most of the crimes occurred on a Friday and Saturday. This represents the number of traffic citations issued versus the warnings issued, and just like many quarters, we're about 50-50 on what we issued. We issued slightly more warnings than we did citations, as is commonplace for the department. The fire department went up slightly in numbers, but not as drastically as the police department did during the summer. And this is a total of 132 calls for service for the fire department, with almost 4 members responding to each call they have. And for the rescue squad, they responded to 46 medical calls during the quarter, which is down for them, but they are only doing manned response calls for service, not transport calls. They're not doing the unmanned calls for service that they were doing previously. However, the total number of hours are still above where they need to be for the county regulations. And that is the third quarter report. If council has any questions.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Chief, would you please update us on, I think we have another neighborhood watch meeting coming up?
There's a neighborhood watch meeting on the 25th at 5 o'clock at the police department community room. It will be posted to the Facebook account, and I'm still trying to figure out the Nextdoor account. We created one, and I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm going to try to put on Nextdoor as well as the Facebook account. as we get closer to that event. I realize if I put it on too early, it gets lost in people's threads and they don't notice the second event. So I'm trying to get it out a week in advance.
Thank you. I think we had a good turnout last time. We
Yes,
had
ma'am.
one of these, and I think the more citizens get involved with watching out for each other, the better this town is going to be. Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Any other questions? I think Lisa, you're up next.
Good evening. The report on the first quarter financial reports. For the general fund, I'd just like to show you, we had $1.3 million in revenue and $2.4 million in expenditures. Just wanted to point out, on the timing of revenues, you have to understand that our revenues, some are seasonal, but our two biggest revenue sources, personal property and real estate, are not collected until December, and the second half of real estate in June. So that's why those numbers kind of look a little off. Next slide shows a breakdown of the departments and what kind of revenue has been brought in. I wanted to add that some comments here. Public safety includes not only the police department, but it also includes our contributions to our fire department and rescue squad. And our debt service includes a $215,000 payment for the elementary school. Move on to the sewer fund. Revenues of $687,000. Expenditures of $534,000. That's pretty straightforward. There's no oddities in that. The next slide shows you the breakdown. Where we're spending money, the wastewater treatment plant, the sewer department, and our debt service, and then where the revenue is coming from. On to our water department. Revenue of $270,000, expenditures of $508,000. The reason that number is so high on the expenditures, we had a debt service payment of $367,478, which constitutes 88% of our annual debt service. That's always due at the beginning of the year. On the next slide, I'll show you the breakdown, where the money is spent. Between debt and water and where the revenue was collected. We move on to our total disbursements for the quarter. We paid invoices totaling $2,553,574.11. That includes all funds. And then our payroll numbers. We had a payroll that totaled $686,732.76, with associated costs of payroll taxes of $245,400.04. And again, this covers all funds. And our last slide gives you a breakdown of ARPA, where we're at on ARPA. So far, expenditures between fiscal 22 and current of fiscal 24, we have spent $907,000. We'll break down that mostly for our CDA. Our budget for 24 is at $316,694. What's remaining? We have set aside $134,000 for the next 2 years as we're doing these major projects in the sewer and water systems. The total cost for the central drainage area is $2.3 million, and we have still unencumbered $20,000. And that concludes the report. I will take any questions.
Ms. Oaks, when do we need to encumber that remaining $20,000 before it's clawed back?
December of 2026.
Okay, so we're fine.
Yes.
And then one last question, the money from the settlement, that is all dedicated to water and sewer.
That all has been moved into the sewers budget to cover the costs that Diane had laid out for you guys.
Right.
So what the remaining settlement money is going to be spent strictly to address those issues.
Thank you.
Yes. I've got a question. The 5.7 million DEQ ARPA funds, where are we in the process of budgeting that and deciding on projects for that money?
I can't speak about that because I have not been in those discussions. I know that we have been given the nod that we're going to get this money. I don't know if anything has been earmarked or anything, or if we are going to be sending anything out, we would have to refer to the town manager's office.
Okay. And are we in any danger of losing that money from delays or is that? No?
It's already been earmarked for us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none. Go to referrals to the planning commission.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I reported back on the last referral, and I'd like to ask Mr. Dooley if he would bring us up to date on anything else that's outstanding that we have referred to them. And then I would like direction on the council if we want to refer anything else based on that report.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. The only outstanding item that was acted upon was the FAR question that was brought to the commission last week at their February 12th meeting. Councilmember Sullivan accurately reported that the that the commission in a recommendation to leave the existing FAR in the R2 zone at 0.4. So that will be reported back to you at your next meeting. Other than that, there's no other outstanding items due back to the council from the planning commission.
You guys are doing the cup, right? Aren't you doing, you guys working on it?
Yes, ma'am. They also, the other items that were on the agenda was to list the conditional use permit, zoning text amendment, as well as the site plan text amendment. Both of those items were identified for scheduling for public hearing for November 9th.
Is that what you want to add? Okay. I guess I'll address the fact that we received a plethora of emails about the FAR. It seems as though somebody put on Nextdoor a sort of call to action, which I say that's like that because it was very misguided, as if the council was going to have some action on it. And to my knowledge, the planning commission is directed to go through this process, this public procedure for a purpose. And that what comes out of that is the way it's supposed to work. And so it has worked in that way. And unless the planning commission sends it back to council, there's no action to take at council. And so it seemed kind of misguided in the sense that it was implying, I didn't see the actual post, but I got so many emails about it, that it seemed like it was like, don't vote on this. And there's no vote on our agenda. So I just caution people when you see things on social media, to ask questions and to look into that and figure that out. I responded to every single person who emailed about this subject. I referred them back to Mr. Dooley and Mr. Mack. So thank you, Mr. Mack, for taking all of those emails too.